Hey guys, welcome to Woodcraft CZ. If it's your first time here, I hope you enjoy it. And if you're a return viewer, welcome back. We're going to go over why I invested in these. If you can see, they're the Black Shark Pro Forstner Bit set from FISCH. It's an Austrian brand and they specialise in drilling technology. So let's get to it. We're going to open the box. We're going to have a look. It's a set of 10, as you can see. The range is from, I believe, 55 all the way down to 15. I think it's increments of 5, 55, 50, 45, 40, and so forth. Now, this is a premium brand, and I would say, dare I say, it's probably one of the best brands out there when it comes to drilling for commercial / professional, even hobbyists such as myself, drill brand outside of the CNC world. Why they're premium? For a couple of factors. Their bits are forged. They are resistant to heat a lot more than your average Forstner bit. What I will do is I'm just going to grab my old cheaper set of Forstner bits and we're going to do a slight comparison. So with FISCH technology specified on the box, they're a forged premium design for significantly longer service life. They have a wavy peripheral cutting edge and they offer precise and splinter-free holes. These bits are best for softwood and hardwood. I'm sure materials such as melamine and chipboard OSB all fall under the brackets of softwood. Here are the very first set of Forstner bits I ever owned. It's a set of 5, ranging from 15 all the way to 35. I did buy additional larger Forstner bits of a better quality, but not as good as FISCH. I'm going to give you a brief look at these. That's your average run-of-the-mill, high street, so to speak, Forstner bit collection. The problem I found with these are that they burnt the wood very easily. I did sharpen them, well, to the best of my ability by running a diamond file along the inside edge here. If you run it along the flat surface, just gives them a bit more of a bite. But nonetheless, I did find them heating up, they would smoke, and they would often splinter the exit hole. I did play with speeds and RPMs, well, the RPM of my pillar drill. It's easier to use a pillar drill and get a specific speed than it is to use a hand drill. I never used them with hand drills, unless it was in my drill guide, and then again I couldn't really adjust the speed accordingly, so it was what it was. I had the velocity sensitive switch on the drill, but nonetheless I didn't have a readout to know what speed I was at. So going back to these, the cheaper sets, why did I upgrade? Well, simply the option was there for me to upgrade. I saw a cheap deal on Amazon, having just passed Black Friday. I took advantage of this. I actually have experience with FISCH via their drill bits, their standard drill bits. I was introduced to FISCH. I'll be right back and get you some examples. FISCH drill bits. This was my first pack of FISCH drill bits ever. It's in focus, perfect. Now these are your standard brad point drill bit from sizes 3 all the way up to 10. There's nothing fancy about them other than they're very good quality. It's unfortunate on YouTube that you can't feel what I'm feeling. The edge on these, as we're later going to look at the Forstner bits, are significantly sharper. You know when the blade is sharp when you run your finger on it, not along it, but against it. You can feel that sort of bite, that almost immediate bite, rather than that smooth just. But I think you guys know what I mean. If you're into woodworking or if you use drill bits, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So this was my first set. I got it from a company called IGM. Really good company. Swear by them. It's my local hardware store or specialist hardware store when it comes to woodworking stuff. I then upgraded to this set, the full McDaddy big boy set of drill bits. Now, not only do these offer more drill bits in a sense of different sizing than this set does, but there's something special about this drill bit set. And if you notice on the packaging, you'll see it says HSS, high-speed steel. Yeah, high-speed steel, which essentially just means that it deals with heat a lot better. The drill bits stay cooler, and if they stay cooler, it means the edge retention lasts longer. They hold the edge a lot longer. So when you come to drill bits, the high speed The high-speed steel is always a better option, especially when it comes to wood and when you're doing larger diameter holes and you have to lower the RPM. You don't want that heat build up. I've drilled stuff where it's just started smoking and I've had to stop and literally be concerned about whether I should put the embers that it can create sometimes. That's not something that happens often, and maybe I shouldn't have let it get to that stage, but the potential is a lot higher when you're dealing with cheap steels and a blunt edge. So going back to the topic in hand, we have a high-speed steel bits, we have a regular drill bits. I mean, these are great. If you don't get these and you want drill bits, FISCH. All day long, can't recommend them enough. Let's get back to the Forstner bits. So opening the set, so these bits, they offer improved cutting speeds. So where your average 45 mil Forstner bit would require, let's say, an RPM of, off the top of my head, I'd say anything between 250 to maybe 500 max. This would require, great, it's in inches. Let's say in hardwood, you could run it at 900. I mean, that in essence will speed up your workflow, but I personally don't really have a need to speed up my workflow, so I'll still run it slower and preserve the life of the edge a lot longer. These, I would definitely imagine, are quite awkward to sharpen, even though there is a sharpening jig out there for them. I'm not sure I fully trust it, but if you look at, just look at that. So let's get 35, let's get a 35 here. So these are two different type of heads. This is a hybridized wave cutter, and these have the knife points. It uses these points to score the wood and this to remove material, whereas this cuts the wood. If you can see the sort of leveled, I'm not sure you can see that, hopefully you can, maybe there. You can see the little teeth along with the waved edge. This cuts into the wood. This literally slices the wood, where this more scores the wood. And this is the material remover. And I know these are new, but I wish you could really feel the difference. This feels like something you would get from a sharp, everyday carry knife. The difference is night and day, yeah. And I could manhandle this quite comfortably, knowing it's not gonna cut me. With this one, I would be reluctant to run my finger along it. Weight-wise, not that it's relevant. I think these are a bit lighter. So I've got my scales from when I do small resin pours. Let's find out. Okay, gram-wise, don't know if you can see it, 79.63 grams, 79.63, 63.9798. This is a lighter bit. I mean, obviously it's hollowed out in the center. This isn't. The shank is thinner. This isn't. I think this is where it's being forged and hardened in a forge comes in handy, because it doesn't need that structural reinforcement that this might need to deal with certain speeds and cutting abilities. Also, the forged steel retains the edge longer. So what I noticed is the set goes up in increments of 5, except when it comes to 25, the next step is 26. I'm guessing this is for hinges, and then it goes from that small increment back to the steps of 5. Let's have a look at this 55 mil piece. Should really call it a beast. It is a beast. That feels like a knife, yeah. So here's a closer look. It's the best way really to highlight the finish of it, because it's on such a large scale. This allegedly combines all the form factor of its sort of predecessors, or the different types in the family of Forstner bits with FISCH, where it retains that wave. So the Black Shark Pros are booked at being quicker, more aggressive and sharper than all other Forstner drill bits. I mean, I don't have the facility to really test the sharpness, or I'm not even sure how we would test the sharpness other than maybe a timed trial, but it would be unfair because my old drill bits have been used. They are slightly dull, even though I try to maintain the edge, but just by first impressions, these are evidently sharper. What I'm going to do is take one for a spin. I'm going to use the equivalent in this old set. I'll give it a sharpen before I use it as well. It's only fair because these are brand new and I haven't used them. Let's take a 30. We'll take these two. We're going to run a side by side. Okay, I'll tell you what, we're going to do it like this. We're going to keep this here. You can see it, so I'm just going to have it ready, start the drill bit. I have the 30 mil cheap Forstner bit in here. Might be no difference at all. We're going to find out, so I'm just going to switch it on. It's running at 350-ish, maybe a little more, 330 to 380. I can't remember what it's running at, but I think that's a good speed for the drill. This is going to be a bit of a bodge, by the time I've started a stopwatch. Well, it's going to be the same for both. So what we'll do, we're going to lower it to a point where it's near the stock. Start. This is going to be started. Start the stopwatch, hold it, drill it. We're going to aim to go all the way through. When I feel it go through, we have a look. Right. I'm clearing. See, I can't feel it. I think that's it. Yeah. You can see all this. Yeah. Okay. That's the cheap bit. Let's change that around. There we go. Kind of gunky. I did run a file on it. I don't know if you can see that. What I'm used to cutting wise, I haven't had the pleasure of using this. We're going to find out what it's like. Yeah, I'm just finding the biting point. So on the 3, yeah, that feels about right. Oh, so that was, I mean, it was a bodge job. It's ridiculous really timing it because I was focusing on clearing the hole and forgot to switch it off in time. But feeling the process, I'll now know if there's a difference, and I hope you guys can take something away from that if I try my best to explain it to you. I just felt a certain amount of resistance going at that speed, and I was unsure whether I went through or not. Normally you feel it just cut straight through. We're going to do it again. Switch it on, get closer, start. Yeah, okay. There is absolutely, I can't even explain. Oh, fuck, Jesus. Okay, forget the stopwatch. All right. I don't need a stopwatch. I don't need anything. I didn't even feel I needed to clear the hole when I was drilling. I think the bit was doing a good enough job by itself. I didn't feel it getting bogged down. I'm curious to see if there's anything in the bit. There's a bit of wood here. I wonder where it came from. But going to the finish, there's a bit of, I mean, this wood is really prone to splintering. It's very pronounced. There's a tiny bit of tear out here, but you can see the edge is here, superior as to this. This is messy. You can. Yeah, it's just as opposed to this. Here, I'm not sure what happened. In fact, I might do that again. Let's have a look. Let's drill again. Yeah, it's tearing out. I don't know why it's tearing out. I think we're going to try one thing. We're going to turn the spoil board round. We're going to go again. So now that's a clean hole. We're going to have a look to see if there's any tear out. Okay, so the tear out is minimal, but it's still, there's a pattern. I'm not sure what this is. I'm not sure if it's the wood or if it's the bit. I'm going to change wood. We're going to try some walnut. So, let's go. Yeah, it's the wood. It's the wood. There you can see the walnut. It's beautiful. I'm going to use the old drill bit just to get a rough idea on difference. And touch-wise, it's warm at best. It's not cold like the shank. There's not much to it, but it's slightly warmer. I mean, it did just go through walnut. The edge is still very much there. Yeah, I'm going to put the old drill bit on and see what sort of results we get. This feels like I'm fighting the wood. Something didn't sound too, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's maybe I pushed too much, but that's not great. So this is the underside, the exit hole of the Black Shark Pro, and this is the exit hole of my long time Forstner bit. I say long time, I mean I've had it a long time, but I've never really used the 30mm much. Maybe I did push it through too much, I don't know, I just did what I felt I should do at the time. I'm really curious about that. I'm going to do one more hole with this cheap Forstner bit just to see if I can improve it, so it's really a fair test. I just want to, you know, you the viewer, I'm trying to give you as much as I can really with my limited ability, technical know-how. Let's drill another hole. Let's do it. I'm not happy with something when it comes out. Yeah, see, it didn't even go through. It felt like it had gone through. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get this feeling with the Black Shark. Yeah, what the yeah, it's slightly better, but it's still butchered it. I mean, it's clear. I've tried. I'm not going to go through that many stages just to justify or not justify getting the Black Shark. I'm very happy I got the Black Shark. The comparison is clear. I mean, this hole, this is Black Shark hole on both sides. I can't remember if this was the exit side. The difference is there, and for me, that's a justification enough to have spent the money on it. They are very expensive. Are they worth it? Who knows? You can only answer that question. It's a question you may not have to ask yourself. You might not be interested in making holes like this. From time to time, it's easier for me to use a Forstner bit than it is a CNC or any other means. And if I can get an edge like this and retain it for longer, I'm happier. The last thing I want to do is sharpen Forstner bits. They're a pain in the backside. Whether it was scientifically correct the way I did it, I don't know, but it's real world. I'm doing it how I would do it, unless I'm missing something that you guys might want to leave in the comments of how to test it. Not that I'm really interested in testing it. I've bought the Forstner bits. I'm going to use them and hopefully stand to gain the advantages of using them. And if you guys have been sitting on the fence about it as well, I hope this video helps you sort of formulate a conclusion. But let's take it over there, back to the table, and we're going to talk about it some more. So why are they called Black Shark? Well, apparently this particular Forstner bit was modeled on a particular shark's skin. That's how they came up with this wave edge. It's not just a wave edge, it's got a slight tooth to it. The FISCH Forstner bit as a whole, they're the only brand that forged their Forstner bits. They were put into the limelight by their wave cutter, which was their first Forstner bit that hit the market, and it was known for this slight wave. It's not the same as this one because this has been developed and advanced, but it's similar to this. And then from that, because people were using and processing hardwoods more often, the Black Shark was developed, and then the Black Shark Pro. Now, there's three types of Forstner bits, which we saw earlier. One of them, which is like the knife cutter. Then you have the wave cutter, and then you have like a sawtooth cutter, which I don't have to hand, but it's more pronounced like this. It's more of a sawtooth all the way around. What FISCH have done are take the wave cutter Forstner bit, they've taken the sawtooth cutter Forstner bit, and the removal of the knife cutter with points and the sawtooth, and combined it all into their forged metal Forstner bit. What makes these even better are that they're precision ground, so the angles are engineered and they're precise. Also, I'd like to note that the shank that the drill bit goes into, the Forstner bit that goes into the chuck, has three sides. I'm not sure you can see it on the camera. There's a very subtle flat edge here, and a flat edge here, giving it 1, 2, 3 sides for the clamp to really grip. There's not going to be any slip slip. It's going to be secure. You don't have to worry about it slipping, not biting, not turning. I'm really impressed with the quality of these. Here you can see the flat side's a little bit easier, whereas you get a cheaper bit, it's just round. There is a chance that it could slip in the process. It's small features like this that just excel the quality of these Forstner bits. So guys, we had a look at it, taking what we've seen into account. Whether you should or shouldn't buy the FISCH bits is entirely up to you. I hope the video has given you more of an insight into why at least I bought these bits, these Forstner bits, and perhaps entertained some ideas to why you may want to buy them. Whether I'm happy with them from the little testing I just did with you guys, I am. Like I was saying, they're a very expensive, a very premium Forstner bit, and I don't blame you or anyone who wants to sort of really evaluate the pros and cons. The cons are definitely the price, but then the argument could be made that you're paying for quality. How you quantify quality is really a very subjective matter. So moving forward, they are an absolutely beast of a set. I'm very happy. What I will do with these, I don't know. Maybe give them to someone who's starting out, but needless to say, moving forward, these will be my go-to Forstner bit. They've lived up to the expectations, and for me, it really was the feel of when I was lowering the drill press, going through the stock, the material. I mean, the first piece of wood, grab it, and a second piece of wood. I mean, the first piece of wood is prone to splintering. I can't remember what it is, what it's called, but it's an absolute nightmare, and it splinters left, right, and centre. It was a really bad idea of me to test it. I shouldn't have used this piece of wood, but nonetheless, there is a marked improvement over the cheaper Forstner bit and the FISCH Forstner bits. Now, having said that, putting that aside, going to an everyday American walnut, like other wood, it's a night and day difference. That's terrible. That's really bad. I honestly tried to do my best to get the most out of the cheap Forstner bit that I could, but you have to take into account, if you have to jump through hoops to get a clean cut with a cheap Forstner bit, that begs the question, why not invest in better quality Forstner bits where you eliminate all those hoop jumping exercises and you just cut the stock and get it done. You don't want to have, it's not science, it's just a hole. And you want to get it cut. I mean, the difference is night and day. Cheap FISCH. No, FISCH Forstner bit. These two are cheap. And like I said, I did run a diamond file on the blades. Let's have a look at the 30. How's the edge retention held up to a brand new one? It's identical. There's no difference in a used and unused one, even though it was used once. Let me get a well-used cheap one and then get the 30mm that wasn't that heavily used. There's a difference. This is sharper than the well-used bit, but because I sharpened it before I used it, but there's no comparison to the sharpness of this. Take away what you will from that. I think I'm rambling enough. So if you're gonna make a Christmas wish, make it be FISCH. I just came up with that, that's pretty good, eh? There you go, I should write poems. Well happy with that. I've been eyeballing this Forstner bit for a long time. I saw some bizarre prices on these sets from 600 euros, which is, it just blew my mind. I had to write to the company and say, is this legitimate? On Amazon at the time, they were maybe 350 euros, 360 euros. It's crazy. So all I'm saying, if you do want some FISCH sets, the best prices I've seen have always come from Amazon. I bought this from German Amazon because we're out here in the Czech Republic. We don't have Amazon here, so everything has to go through Germany. If you're in the UK, I've seen some in the UK. UK Amazon will be good. Some private retailers, I don't know, but the markup on them tends to be ridiculous, and they can't really offer a deal when the deals come around the way Amazon can. I'm not affiliated with Amazon. I did have an affiliate link once, but they got rid of that. Maybe I didn't sell enough, whatever it was. Anyway, Amazon's probably your best bet to get these. Unless unless you see a deal somewhere, just grab it. If you've been thinking about these FISCH bits, you know what they're all about. I'm giving my blessing on them. I'm very happy now that I made the purchase. Should have done it sooner. I have no regrets. Definitely a good buy and goodbye to the cheap bits. That's all I can say. I hope you guys are happy with the decisions you make when it comes to your Forstner bits, and I hope this video has helped. If you guys have taken anything away from this or enjoyed the video, please consider giving my channel a subscribe, smashing the like button. I'm not going to ask you to get notifications. Not that I post frequently, but it can be annoying sometimes, and I know that. But if you do want to hit the notification bell, that'd be great too. Whatever you guys do, happy woodworking and take it easy. Enjoy your holiday periods and any time off work you may get. Take it easy, guys. Until the next video.